mug right here. And
10 seconds
there we
remaining.
go. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. This is it. Groovy Gaming versus Third Tier
5 seconds
Gaming.
remaining.
The first 4 bans out here, pretty standard from what we see in
Dire
today's meta. We
team
see the
pick.
Death Prophet, the Terrorblade, the Lycanthrope, and the Brewmaster all banned out right off the bat. Now the Brewmaster has slipped through quite a few banning phases in most games. People just always seem to think they can deal with him, and it never quite happens. So Brewmaster's out though this game. I'm kind of thankful to see that. He's a little bit of a boring hero to see over and over, but two very exciting heroes to watch getting picked up right off the bat: the Tidehunter and the Ogre Magi, followed up by the Razor. Razor not too fun. He's kind of a bland hero, but Ogre, really fun, lots of multicast action, lots of roaming, ganking, lots of cool stuff like that. Occasionally paired up with a Skywrath Mage, but that was not picked up by Groovy right off the bat, so we'll see if that slips through to the second phase for them or not. Right now we got that Tidehunter picked up by Third Tier, and we'll see what they want to go for the rest of the draft here, but make sure I'm
10 seconds remaining.
Alright, I didn't screw up this time. I'm
5
kind of
seconds
paranoid
remaining.
because last time I casted, I totally forgot to unmute myself
time.
at the beginning of the game, and I had my friends spamming invites at me, trying to get my attention in game, and he's like, "Your mic's muted, your mic's muted," and I was like, "No, man, like my mic's not muted," and because I checked and I looked at the button and it wasn't muted, and then I realized I had muted myself on my headphones, and I looked like a giant idiot, but. Anyways, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Back to the game though. Mirana getting picked up by Third Tier Gaming. So, Tide Mirana, those are an interesting
5
two
seconds
first
remaining.
picks. The Tidehunter, he's very strong, but the Mirana, it's kind of odd. Like generally,
Reserve
Miranas are
time.
now seen in a much more niche pick. She's not as popular as she was in the beginning of 6.80 or was it 6.80? 6.81, I think it was. Yeah, beginning of 6.81, I think Mirana was crazy, but. You know, not that top tier pick anymore, and generally seen getting picked up with either aggressive tri-lanes filled with massive amounts of stuns, or setups like, you know, Shadow Demon Leshrac Mirana tri-lanes, or you know, Shadow Demon Lina Mirana tri-lanes, or Ogre Skywrath Mirana tri-lanes, so, you know, things like that. Those are generally where we see the Miranas picked up nowadays, but she can still be run very effectively in a multitude of positions, whether that be in the mid lane, the off lane, the carry, or the support role. So we'll have to see what the choice is here from Third Tier Gaming, but an excellent hero to pick up early on in the draft because you have that flexibility in her. The next 2 bans coming out are the Spectre and the Centaur, so just straight up meta picks here, all getting taken out of the pool. I don't think either of these teams have you know, looked at each other's drafts and been like, oh, we want to get rid of this. It's kind of just a lot of heroes that are very popular in today's meta. You know, Spectre doesn't quite have any direct synergy with either Mirana or Tidehunter, but she's very strong and is therefore taken out. And of course the Centaur, no direct synergy. Well, he works pretty well with the Razor, but I mean, nothing too special with the Ogre or anything like that, so... Just, like I said, straight up meta bans. See what they go for in the second couple bans here. Third Tier Gaming spending quite a bit of their reserve time, almost a full minute, trying to decide what they want to do here with this ban, and they do go for the Skywrath. So Skywrath is taken out. No Skywrath Ogre combos today. Groovy's going to have to look for something else to combo with that, but there are a lot of potential options here. I mean, you can combo Ogre with a lot of great heroes that need setups. You know, things like the Leshrac, things like things like the Leshrac, things like the Lina. What else we got here?
5 seconds remaining.
What else can you do? Jakiro's a good one. Jakiro's very popular nowadays. I like that one. I don't know. I'm like craning my neck backwards to look at the hero poster I got sitting behind my head here. But no, we're good. We're good. We Gucci. And Groovy's taking their sweet time with this ban as well. So I think, yeah, I don't know which ban here. Like I said, there's nothing that's too incredibly telling at this point in the game. I think I would ban out the Shadow Demon, actually, because he works very well with 3TG's lineup so far. You know, helps control that Razor quite a bit, and also sets up that Mirana, whether you know, she's on a support role or on a carry role. And I think that might be the one ideal ban, but you can also get rid of just a annoying strong hero like Viper as well. So Viper gonna get taken out, which is what they do, and the Faceless Void getting picked up by Groovy Gaming right off the bat here. So interesting draft off the start. I wonder if this is going to be a one position Void or if it's going to be on the off lane. Void has been seeing a little bit of a decrease in popularity ever since those last couple nerfs in 6.82, you know, it's just, you know, shrinking down that chronosphere radius, and you know, it's not a huge thing. He's still a fantastic hero, but you know, just enough to kind of make people think about whether they want him or somebody else. I've been seeing some Phantom Assassin play here and there, but you know, yeah, I'm not sure.
Reserve
no one has like directly replaced Void. It's you know, it's more of a spattering of heroes. You see some PA every once in a while. You see some Luna. You see some what else do you see? I've seen some Tinies. Lots of Tinies. I like Tiny. Sven's actually been making a little bit of an appearance in a lot of pro games, and I've quite enjoyed watching that. You know, Sven's just a fantastic hero. I can't remember. I think it was Team Secret that ran a Sven Magnus a couple days back, and it was magnificent to see. It was absolutely glorious. I love it. Played a pub game the other night where I had a Magnus Sven, and then we had a supporting techie, and that was probably one of the funner games of the night. Getting a skewer into mines was just absolutely beautiful. Anyways, Bane getting picked up by the by Third Tier Gaming here, so they do have that set up for the Mirana. That'll probably be a support duo here. Lich getting picked up by Groovy Gaming as well, so just kind of a little bit extra to beef up that Razor and that Void, and yeah, nothing too special there. Lich is Lich, and he does his thing. Of course, that Frost Blast is always very nice inside the Chronosphere as well.
Ten seconds remaining.
Alright, so 3TG, let's see what they go for. They got 18 seconds left here in their reserve time. They do just go for the Tiny. Cool. So I was talking about the Tiny. I like the Tiny. Tiny's good, and he works very well against that Faceless Void as well. You get that craggy exterior, which is no longer disabled by the Chronosphere, which is a big buff to the Tiny against that Faceless Void. So it helps him out quite a bit, and I mean, it's really, really hard to kill a Tiny within the duration of a Chronosphere. Anyways, Wisp is going to be the ban out here by Groovy Gaming, so they don't want that Wisp to be comboed up with that Tiny, but I think that 3TG is just fine with that. You know, interestingly enough, we could... It's not guaranteed, and I don't think it's even likely, but we could be seeing a mid-Tiny here. Have that Mirana Bane with another setup down on that bottom lane, or even in an aggressive tri-lane, try to shut down that Void, and then put the Tiny on the mid and this Tidehunter on a solo. I think that would work out fairly well. I mean, Tiny mid is a very potent mixture, and he does well against Razor too, because despite Razor sapping his damage, a lot of Tiny's damage comes from his Avalanche Toss combo. And so if Razor and Tiny do ever get into a brawl, Tiny can still win that without you know, having to rely on his auto attacks. So it's a potential there, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. I think the more likely scenario here is that we see the Tiny on a one position, the Mirana Bane as a support duo with the Tidehunter on the off lane, and then we see an additional mid laner being picked up by 3TG. That's what I'm thinking. But I would like to see the Tiny mid. Tiny mid is very interesting. It's very fun. We have seen a lot of Wisp Tinies going mid together as well, which, I mean, it's not going to happen this game because the Wisp is banned out, but you know, it's always... You know, things like that are always very interesting. Coddle and Tiny together are actually quite interesting as well. And with the Bane, I think it could actually work out fairly well. I mean, you get the Nightmare, and then you throw the Illuminate on top of it, and of course you always have mana for that Tiny, who is a giant mana horse. So, you know, that's potential as well. But Jakiro is going to be picked up here by Groovy Gaming, and this tells a very interesting story of this game. Now, we're either going to be seeing an offlane Lich or an offlane Void, and I have a feeling it's going to be the offlane Lich. I mean, you know, yeah, it's going to be the offlane Lich. There is not a scenario where I would see, you know, maybe I think the only other scenario would be a one-position Jakiro with the Lich and the Ogre supporting while the Faceless Void goes offlane, but I just think that's a waste of farm. I mean, if you can get the Void farming instead of the Jakiro, why would you not? So, it'll be an offlane Lich, and the Ogre Magi Jakiro supporting, and we do have that Puck pickup, so it will be a one-position Tiny, Mirana Bane supporting, and that Puck heading towards the mid lane. And I do like the Puck with this draft. I mean, you've got a lot of AoE potential between the Tiny and the Tide Hunter, and of course that puck helps rein everybody in with the Dream Coil, and will help out a lot. So I do like 3TG's draft quite a bit here. They've got a very potent mashup of heroes that can do a lot of damage, but Groovy, they've got some scary stuff themselves. I mean, that Razor and that Void can get very, very ugly if things work out differently. Anyways, getting into the game here, let's introduce these players. We've got Grooves going to be playing on a Faceless Void. He'll be heading down towards bottom? I don't know. We'll see in a second. Gift Dodo going to be playing that Jakiro. We got Can't Stop going to be playing the Ogre Magi. Batib going to be playing on that Lich. Heading down towards bottom. GTA going to be playing on the Razor. And who are we missing? Who are we missing? We're missing. Did I get everyone? I think I got everyone. Ah! Man, I'm rocking it today. Anyways, over on the side of 3TG, we got Ben Amin going to be playing on that top lane. Tide Hunter, Fish going to be playing the mid puck. Mark going to be playing on that Marana. Jason Segal going to be playing on the Bane. And Podge on the Tiny. So, very, very interesting setup here. We've got like level 1 invasion of the jungle here, but I don't know if they can actually win a level 1 fight. I mean, Avalanche is incredibly potent. You get that Nightmare Arrow on somebody and you can really mess them up, and so they're going to be playing it very cautious as they do make this aggressive maneuver into the camp here, but they do place a sentry ward down. Are there any sentries for de-warding here? Does the Marana have any? No, they don't. So this camp is definitely going to be blocked up for the first little bit, and it does look like we do have an aggressive tri-lane here, and this is a little bit confusing for me because I don't think Jakiro Ogre beats the Bane Marana. I really, really don't. And maybe they're going to rotate it out now, but what is this laning?
Regeneration.
I'm very confused. I am very confused, but I guess we'll see in a second. But, anyways, okay, so dual lane Lich Void mid. Then the off lane is going to be the Jakiro Ogre, and I don't know if I like this. I mean, you can't do much with these two heroes. You can't bully out this Tiny. I mean, he's going to be farming for free, and if the Bane Marana catches, there's nothing you can really do to save yourself. These heroes are just going to get trounced, and I mean, we see aggressive moves forward here by Mark and Jason Segal. They're going for it, and no Nightmare going to be used right off the bat, but that could have been a Nightmare Arrow combo right there, and that's it. And I mean, as soon as the supports move in, the these two have to back away, and the Tiny is free to do as he pleases. So I'm really not sure about this choice, but we'll see how it works out for him. I mean, this is going to mean a farmed Void on the mid lane. He's going to be able to do pretty much whatever he wants, and the puck can harass him a little bit, but with the Lich nearby, it's going to be hard to do it. And I mean, Lich works very well against the puck as well, because I mean, there's nothing that the Lich can do that can be disjointed by the phase shift until you get to level 6. And I mean, from there, what are you going to do? Razor versus Tide Hunter is actually a pretty interesting matchup as well. I think the Razor does win this on the fact that he has the most range damage potential, but I mean, Ben Amin will be able to sit up here and just kind of abuse that Kraken Shell, keep himself alive. I don't think he's going to die, and he will be getting significant XP because there are no stack and pulls going to be coming through, so he should be just fine for the first little while. But anyways, we got aggressive maneuvers coming out here on the bottom lane. It looks like the Bane and Marana are looking for action, and Jason Segal is going to move forward. Eats an Ice Path right off the bat, but we'll probably see him. Oh, arrow going to land. So they're not going to wait on the Nightmare for that arrow, but Ogre now walking around through the trees, and they're just dancing around through here. They didn't want to commit to the Nightmare arrow right off the bat. Instead, they just kind of went for a little bit of auto attack harass, and they're going to save some of their mana. But I think they could. I think they could very much use that aggressiveness right now. I mean, if a Nightmare hits, you can do a lot of damage here. We'll see if that happens, but for now, just pushing them away with those ranged auto attacks, giving their Tiny some room to farm. And farm he is. Actually not as high as I thought. He's only 6 and 7, but actually has a lot more denies, which is a little bit odd. Anyways, Faceless Void going to go down to bottom, and Lich has gone up to top. And so using that duo mid, they're going to be able to secure both of those runes for themselves, and this puck is not going to find her rune right off the bat. That said, she does have her bottle, and we'll have a full set of charges coming out to her in just a second. Did she actually just phase shift that? I think you could. No, she didn't phase shift that. She took the damage. Anyways, Razor up top. Actually dropped pretty darn low. I think Tide probably just got in his face. Took a little bit too much damage, but he's got stuff coming out to him on the courier. He's got a bottle coming up. Really? Razor grabbing the bottle. Alright, so I guess he wants to spam out that plasma field. Not too concerned about the static link. I mean, he can't use it on the Tide Hunter, but what's it really going to matter? I mean, you're not going to get too much out of that Tide. Down on bottom. Tiny's still farming away. Doing pretty good. Actually, is topping out the CS right now. Like I said, he was doing alright, but dropped behind a little bit for a couple seconds there. But yeah, this Puck is not having a great time in the mid lane. I mean, she's doing alright on the last hit. She is matching the Void for now. But as these levels start to come out and Lich has the ability to spam out that Frost Blast even more, it's going to really hurt this Puck's ability to farm and stay in lane. And, you know, the more I watch this, the more I do like this duo mid. But, I mean, what are you really sacrificing here? I mean, you've got a perfect... Oh, alright, so he takes the arrow, but, I mean, you kind of knew that was going to happen. We got a toss avalanche coming out on the Ogre, and he's still stunned up. He's going to die for sure here, and First Blood does go to Podge. So, I mean, like I said, this is the problem with this offlane, is that despite, you know, despite any trades you can make, it's never going to be in your favor. The Bane of Marana is too potent, and with the Tiny to back it up, to come in there and throw that avalanche, I mean, we saw that Ogre, he was straight up disabled for about 7 seconds there, and that was enough to just burst him down and kill him. So, that was it, and, yeah, 3TG take an early lead, 1-0, and about 4 minutes in this game. Up in the top lane, Razor leading the charts in CS 20-1, and up against that Tiny's 18-8. So Tiny's doing a little bit better on the denies, which is actually going to help him out quite a bit against these two offlaners, not getting the experience they need. And I mean, you can see this already. The Jakiro, who's been in a duo lane, has pretty much matched experience with the Tiny, and he's obviously been sharing that experience 3 ways. So new deny changes in 6.8.2 definitely coming into play. Towards the mid, 1,500 gold saved up on that Void. I wonder what he's going to use that for. I mean, he could have his treads flying out to him right now if he wanted to go straight for the treads. So it's making me think he might try to go Midas, but Midas not so good in this patch. A lot greedier than it used to be. But anyways, Nightmare goes out to try to keep him off, and Mark is just scampering away with a couple slivers of health. Ogre going a little bit too far forward, but he gets himself out of there with no scrapes or scratches, and oof, that's gonna hurt. Ogre, is he gonna find what he needs? Just needs to throw that W, and he's not gonna get it. Arrow gonna fly, not gonna catch anything, and Sal being used up on Podge. Now, can't stop, still fighting up Jason Skull here. Man, I love the names. And Brain Tap goes out now. He's a little bit low, but those magic launchers will give him enough for an avalanche. Will he be able to catch up and make this attack happen? I don't think he will. The Ogre and the Jakiro are probably going to walk away relatively unscathed. I mean, they're both pretty much out of consumables. We still have a salve up on the Jakiro, but beyond that, they're going to have to start running back to base if they want to collect any more things. Anyways, Tidehunter fighting the good fight up here, gets a gush off, and actually manages to kill off that Razor. Arrow going to fly in and you know, ward off that Lich, and damn, with the magic wand charge, the Tidehunter survives one final auto attack, and the Puck Marana together are going to bring down this Lich. So fantastic play up top. That what's he got? He only has 1 level in that Kraken Shield. Damn, I thought he would have had more to be able to survive that, but no, he does. He manages to keep himself alive through all of that, and Groovy loses both the Razor and the Lich. In mid, we've still got that exchange between the Puck and the Void, and Puck is gaining a little bit more ground now that the Lich is left, actually keeping the CS even with the Void, 29 and 29 apiece. So doing fairly well for herself, full bottle charges, and what's she doing? Just running back. Alright, yeah, she's just bottling up. Cool, my friends. Bottom lane. Jakiro getting some farm. I mean, he's got 12 CS. He's doing all right, but he's definitely in danger of getting popped once these supports rotate back around. But they haven't done that yet. We have to see a 3-man smoke coming out from the Tidehunter, the Bane, and the Marana, and I wonder where they're going to go. If they're going to head down towards that bottom lane, or if they're just going to hook into mid and try to finish off that Void. And I think the decision is going to be mid. Here they go. The Tidehunter is 6. He does have that Ravage available. He's going to pop it. Dream Float goes out on 1. He managed to find the Lich. The Void is a little bit too far away, and he did go for that Midas, so he's got the full Midas completed. Nightmare goes out though. Arrow gonna follow this up in just a second, waiting until it... Okay, Ogre breaks it off. Where's the arrow? Oh,
tower is under attack.
I see. They threw the arrow to start. Yeah, Tide gonna abandon his quest from mid and instead head back up towards top. The Bane and the Marana gonna follow up as well and head up there. We have face boots on the Jakiro. Interesting. Okay, so it looks like they want to run this Jakiro as a little bit more of a core position, try to push down these towers, but I don't know if that's gonna, I don't know how that's gonna work out for you, friends. I mean, it's working out now because this bottom lane has been pretty much abandoned by 3TG. But with the Tiny back here with full mana, this is going to be a very scary lane for the Jakiro. If he gets within any vicinity of Tiny, Tiny can just walk up, get the avalanche, get the toss, and that'll be a kill. Up in the top lane, faces Void, gets the double damage room, and oh, he was at bottom. Derp. There's Razor up top with the help of his supports. They were chasing down that Bane, but he just teleports out right in front of their faces, laughs at him, and waves goodbye. 3 up top, looking to create some pressure on this tower here. There's not much the Tide can do except for pull the lane away, and they are going to chip away at this tower for now. With the puck is being up there, Ben Amin drops pretty damn low. He might fall here. He's going to try to back it up. Drops an anchor smash, reduces the damage just a little bit, and oh my god, the arrow catches. Razor not going to get the Tide once again, and there we go, 3 heroes down. What a fantastic rotation, and once again, that Tide Hunter manages to make it out with just a narrow sliver of health. Not a single death being given up on the side of 3TG quite yet, and having taken their 7th kill, they are feeling very confident right now. Down in the bottom lane, we did have the Macro Pyre dropped by the Jakiro. Looks like there was a bit of a scuffle between these 2 heroes, but Tiny happy with the outcome. Going to continue last hitting for now as the Jakiro TPs back out to his base. Baseless Void still farming away on the mid lane though. This is pretty dangerous. I mean, you got a Void with second highest CS on the board, no deaths, and a Hand of Midas going. He is going to get pretty damn scary, pretty damn quick, and they need to be able to shut him down. And I think they do have a lineup that can handle that farmed Void late game. But I mean, you know, what are you trading right now? What does the Void have that you don't? And right now, that's a lot of money. Anyways, Ogre coming from the side, might get caught out here, and the Bane finds him, Nightmare goes out, Arrow gonna follow it up, and this is gonna be a kill for sure. Ravage goes out, they're gonna find the Lich as well, no way he's getting out of that. With Gush finishing it off, that'll be 2 more kills straight over towards the side of 3TG. And I mean, this is what I was talking about earlier, was the fact that 3TG just has such a rough ability to fight early on, and oh my god, they're going for it again. They drop the Dream Coil, but oh man, the phase shift, is he gonna get out? Puck jumps to behind the tower to get away from this, and the Razor, is he gonna make it out? A couple more auto attacks, and he does fall. The Razor is gonna fall, and a couple heroes running away with absolutely jack nothing. And what is this? The Tiny and the Jakiro kill each other right on the same spot, so I think that is a good trade for Groovy. They get their first kill of the game, and it is on a high priority target, but that said, they are still down 10 kills. It is looking pretty rough for them right now. They do have the 2 highest farmers though, so we'll see if that does count for anything as we head towards the you know, later portions of the game. I mean, we can see already this Razor highest CS, but you know, 4th highest in net worth. So that's you know, that really does count for something. So keep that in mind, folks, as we go moving forward. The CS chart is not everything. All right, up in top, we do still have the Pocket Bane and the Mirana all just sitting around here, and do they know the Ogre's here? Their movements were kind of like, yo, Ogre, we're coming for you. Oh, they're looking for the courier. Oh, no. Not gonna find it. They could have, though. Fuck, gonna get chased down. Fantastic arrow lands onto the Razor, and they could get the kill here if they wanted to expend a Fiend's Grip. Are they going to? There they go. Fiend's Grip goes out on the Razor. Is there any damage to follow it up? No, there's not. And Macro Pyre is going to go down in these trees. They do have a Sentry Ward, and the Invis is not going to do it for this Mirana. She walks into the enemy territory and gets popped. 1 kill trader for 1, and I mean, I think any trade right now is good for Groovy. They really need to come back and make up some of these early kills that they've given up. And getting this tier 1 tower is going to be the way to do it. They grab a tier 1 tower, and that'll be it. So they move forward. Meanwhile, mid lane, Ben Amin pushing down this tier 1 in the mid, and getting over half of its life gone, but not quite the exchange they want. They need to trade some kills or a full
bottom tower is under attack.
Giving up those free trades could not. It's not good. Anyways, are they going to expend the Chronosphere? I don't think they need to. They got a lot of people here. They're looking to throw the Ice Path, but I don't know if it's going to be. And they do expend the Chrono, and they can turn this right back around. Puck jumps into the middle of all of them. Gets a wow, actually only a 1-man Dream Coil amidst all 5 heroes. And are they going to find it? The Razor trying to walk away, bottling up. Oh my god, he's going to make it out of this. No way. And the Ice Path catches the puck, and she comes out of her. The base shift, and no Blink Dagger to escape her out of their mark, sitting up on the high ground. Very scared. He's got to walk away from this.
Radiant's
fight is
middle
definitely on the
tower
way of
is under
Groovy, and they're
attack.
just managing to eke him out here and there. I mean, that Faceless Void survived, the Razor survived, and, you know, with the smallest, tiny little slivers of health, they managed to make it out of that. So, you know, making up a little bit of ground here that they've lost early on, but they do still have to worry about this Tiny. He's getting pretty fat, almost has a full Aghanim Scepter. That's near 14 minutes, and we'll see this coming up in the next minute or so. But yeah, this is definitely scary. That said, Podge hasn't gone for completed boots or any other
Dire's
items
bottom
in between.
tower
No
is under
drums,
attack.
no you know,
Dire's
Master Madness, anything
structures
like
are
that.
fortified.
Instead, he's just decided to go straight for that Aghanim Rush. So we'll see if that works out for him. But
Dire's middle
that has
tower
yet to be
is
seen.
under attack.
Dire tier 1 tower on the mid lane, still within deny range, and Tiny gonna throw a creep at it, hoping it does the last tick of damage, but not the
Dire's
case.
middle
Jakiro
tower
gets the
has
deny.
been denied.
Meanwhile, down on bottom, the tier 1 has fallen here as well. So 2 tier 1s down on the Dire side, and one of them being denied. Only one taken, but it was taken by the team on the Radiant tier 1. Anyways, arrow gonna fly. Oh my god, what a beautiful arrow. He didn't even know that was there. I think that was just scouting. And they find the Razor. They're gonna brain tap and then go straight into the Fiend's Grip, and that will be it. The Razor gets picked off by a fantastic blind arrow. Actually, was that blind? Oh, yeah, they just placed his fourth. That was totally blind. He was just walking down here, and yeah, boom. Get messed up, buddy. Alright, so Razor gets picked off, and fantastic play there by the Mirana. I think he might have seen the Razor walking down here and, you know, just kind of expected that to be where he was, but either way, that was fantastic foresight on the Mirana's part, and she gets away with that. Tiny now with the completed Aghanim Scepter. He's going to get that courier to fly it out to him in just a moment here, but it is completed, 14 minutes and 40-ish seconds in, and he'll have that flown out to him. Be able to push down some towers, and like I said, no completed boots or other additional items though, so we'll see how much the Aghanims actually mean once, you know, once everything comes around here. But lots of pings coming out here. Jeez, I think both teams are just like, we got to get in this area. But you know, this smoke girl is pseudo smoke gank with just the ogre smoked up. May work out. They're looking for the Tiny. They're gonna find him. Actually, no, that's a Nibs. I thought he was smoked up. But yeah, Tiny's going to scout this all out. The Sentry Ward did actually just expire right here, so he's not going to get spotted out by that. Gets his tree delivered to him, and he's going to be able to find a kill. Are they going to get it, though? Arrow flying in. Is it going to catch someone? No. Not the case, but Vision Ward is down. And, oh, this Courier could get sniped here, too. Where's the Courier? Alright, it's flying back through the tree line here, but This is getting very, very sketchy. As oof, man, so tense right now. Like every member of both teams are just kind of hiding there, and neither of them completely know it. But there we go, Nightmare Arrow combo deleted up. Puck jumps in, gets the silence on 3. Ravage is gonna go. It only catches the 1 though. The Jakiro gets hit, and now the Fiend Grip is out on the point. He does manage to get the Chronosphere out. He's gonna try to do what little damage he can, but he needs to jump out of this very quickly. The puck is gonna drop to that Frost Blast, and oh my god, this is going terribly for 3TG. They got what seemed like a great initiation, but it just wasn't. They turned it back around.
Dire's
Groovy,
top tower
man.
is under attack.
Flirting with death there is the Razor as he goes, but are they gonna find Podge? I mean, they need some additional help here, and the Ogre's Fire Blast is not going to be enough. So 4 heroes down in exchange for the 1 on Team Groovy. Let's look at the fight recap. We did have the Ravage expended as well as the Dream Coil, a couple of miscellaneous abilities from everybody else, including the Fiend's Grip, but the Chain Frost, Eye of the Storm, and the Chronosphere all spent on the side of Groovy. But a 2,400 gold swing in the favor of Groovy as well, so they are making their way back into this game from that you know, bad early start, and they're about 6 kills off of evening up the kill score. Net worth graph looking pretty good for them. The Void is sitting on top of that, with the Tiny and the Puck following very closely thereafter, and then the Razor following after that. We do have the Puck jumping down here. Actually missed the blink, I think. Didn't get the silence, and that will be the tower for Jakiro here. Puck not going to pursue to try to fight that up. Instead, just backs him away, and tower taken for free down here by the Jakiro. He is almost to his Yule Scepter. He's about 500 off of that, and once he gets that, he's going to get a lot more potent. I mean, this Yule's works very well against the side of 3TG. You can cancel out the Tide's Blink with it because it's got a great range. You can just kind of keep the Tiny out of a fight for a while. I mean, he's a very disruptive hero that causes a lot of havoc just by existing with that Craigie exterior and throwing out his spells and whatnot. So just using him up while you fight everybody else is a good way to deal with him as well. Can also interrupt that Fiend's Grip, which is another great perk of that item. It is ridiculously OP, right? Gyrocopter with a Eul Scepter the other night, and it felt horrible, but you know what? The item's good. The item's good. Eul's your rocket, I get it. Tiny gonna find himself a bounty rune, just give him a little bit of extra gold, nothing too special over there. Like an attempt on a BKB is coming up here for the Razor. He's sitting pretty far off of that, but he does have the Ogre Club. That'll help beef him up a bit for these next couple of fights. Tiny now farming a lot better now that he has the Aghanims. I mean, it's kind of like getting that Battle Fury Rush on a Void or something like that. So it just kind of helps you with that. But, oh man, big fight coming in here. The Tiny is going to be the center of attention. He does get finished off, but this is going to be a turnaround as they come in. Fiend's Grip is in on the Razor. They have finished off the base of the Void already, but that Magic Wand going to keep him alive for a little bit. Oh my god, the Nightmare almost saves him, but no. The Ravage blink in from Benjamin is going to turn this fight around, and are they going to be able to make something of it? Arrow going to fly, not going to catch anything. Macropire sitting in the middle of this fight. Jen, he is balls as shit. He is in here. The Puck trying to throw whatever auto attack she can from the backline. She needs to be very careful. This Ogre turns around, gets an Ignite on her or something, and no. Ogre is going to fall. Jakiro now going to be the next target. They're kind of going for both, but they do decide to go on the Lich instead. Jakiro may walk out of this with his life. No! He turns back around and gets Brain Sap. That's going to be a 5-man wipe for 1. Oh man, that was not the fight that Groovy needed. They'd been taking some good ones up until now, but just that one puts the swing way back in the favor of 3TG. We see the Tiny being traded for the full enemy team and about a 3,000 gold swing going the way of 3TG. So that's what we need. Speaking of gold swings, let's check out those graphs and see where we're at. We've seen some big spikes, and these are each of those fights that Groovy had won. I mean, that one up on top lane, that was this big one right here, and they were slowly starting to bring it back. They were almost there, and then that huge spike right back up. Like I said, about a 3k swing in that last fight, and net worth is definitely swinging the way of 3TG at the moment. XP, a very similar looking graph, but we've been a little bit closer to 0 throughout the entire course of this of these engagements. So now we're back about a 3.5k advantage in XP in favor of 3TG. Fuck, got a double damage here. Gonna fill up her bottle with that bounty rune, and we'll be moving back towards the mid lane up here. So we got the Jakiro and the Ogre coming up top to try to see if they can find themselves a Tide, but Tide has his wits about him. He might be able to blink out. No, gets blasted up. The Ice Path is going to be good. It hits the Ignite, following it up, so he's not going to be able to blink out of this at all. Jakiro getting blocked up through the trees here, but yeah, they're not going to be able to pursue that. There is no tier 1 tower, so they might have been able to chase it if they wanted to, but with this TP support coming in, I don't know if that would have worked out well for them. They back up wisely, and will keep themselves away from danger for now, and secure that lane, keep Tide off of his farm there. Now the one thing, oh, interesting. Okay, so this Tiny, instead of completing out his boots or going for a Blink Dagger or anything of the sort, he's decided to go for an Ogre Club, straight into a BKB, I imagine. There is a lot of control and a lot of magic damage. Wow, fantastic arrow lands up there, and the Brain Tap is going to be the end of that. So the Jakiro falls. Either Storm getting popped on by the Razor, but here he's coming right into this fight. Fantastic Chronosphere, catches 2. Dream Coil goes down. The Tiny is in there looking to try to turn this fight back around, and the Ravage does get popped off. The Base Void is going to go down. The Bane fell inside the Chronosphere, but it doesn't matter. The Razor's going to fall, and yeah, that's it. Ogre Magi waddles himself away from that, but I think this is probably going to be a tier 1 tower as well as a good fight in the favor of 3TG. So they're feeling pretty good here, about a 900 gold swing as well as that tower coming in, and they might find themselves a Lich as well as he gets himself a little bit too far. And Blink, gosh, that's going to be it. Tiny gets the last hit with an auto attack, and Ogre, oh man, he's flirting with death. This Ignite might actually finish off the Puck. She's not careful. Nah, she's just fine. Going for Eul Scepter herself, actually. And all she has to do is go back to base and pick that up.
Here I am.
Tiny farming away, like I said, looking for that Black King bar, and you know, his choice not to finish Arcane / Power Treads has left him without mana in a lot of these scenarios here, but I think just due to the fact that just due to the way his team is built here with the Tide Hunter and the Bane both getting the Arcane boots, I think he feels confident enough that he doesn't have to worry about his mana and can rely on that Magic Wand while he goes for the bigger item. So we'll see if that works out for him, but it has been so far. He is 3-2-4 and currently sitting at the 3rd highest net worth on the board.
The prize is
Puck
mine.
actually taking, no, Puck taking the top of the charts there after those last couple of fights. She's doing pretty well for herself. take a peek over at some items while we got a moment here. Yule Scepter completed up on the puck, as we talked about. That Blink Dagger is on her as well. We've got an attempted Refresher Orb up on the Tide Hunter, and he's about 1,500 gold away from that. Has the Blink Dagger already. Aghanim Scepter up on the Tiny, we've been talking about his items all game. Mechanism, and the Arcane Boots on the Bane. Over towards the Mirana. Looks like she doesn't have much, but she's got Power Treads, and what I assume is the beginning of some drums. Yeah, she's got the drums and endurance coming up there. The Jakiro has actually opted away from the Yules and is deciding to go for a mech instead, I think. She's got that headdress and a buckler, but also hanging on to a Sage's Mask. So kind of just going halfway between the two items. Kind of curious build there, but anyways, the Faceless Void has gone for the Maelstrom, and looks like an attempted BKB. Is realizing that he's getting controlled out a lot by arrows, by silences, by Tiny, etc. So he's going to pick up that BKB and hopefully not have to deal with the craggy exterior and other such things. We've got the Razor attempting to go for a Aghanim Scepter. Actually did not go for the BKB as I imagined, so he's going to be pretty close to that, about 150 gold off of picking that up. Over on the Lich, he's got himself an Urn of Shadows and some Dust. Nothing too special there. Full BKB Tiny. He's free to pick that up whenever he wants. He can go back to base and grab that. He probably will right after this. I mean, he's got no health, he's got no mana. Might be able to farm one more camp, but he's probably on his way back to base to grab that and a TP scroll and head off to the magical world of Fightland in the middle lane. If that's going to be where they fight. We'll see. Banner just hanging out up top, waiting for someone to pick it up. Bane spots it out, but Puck wants to fill at the bottom, so she's going to head over there as well. Scouting arrow flies into the enemy jungle, not going to find anything though. Down on bottom lane, Razor. Got the gold for his Aghanim Scepter, just got to get that flown out to him, and see if he does soon. But anyways, Nightmare out on the Bane. Are they going to follow it up? If Miranda walking in there gets out the, yeah, they got a Fiend's Grip on the Lich. That's going to be it. Puck, she's going to jump forward. Will she get the kill? One more auto attack? No. Jakiro manages to TP out, and that'll be it. 24-10 is your kill total. After that Lich did fall there. Fight recap, not going to show all that much. Got a Blanket Dream Coil, a Phase, yeah, Fiend's Grip,
middle tower
and
is under attack.
A little bit of Gold Swing, but nothing too important. What really is important is that this tier 2 tower is going to go down. They've got the Fortify available, and they could try to fight it if they want, but I don't think they're in position for it. The Razor's down on the bottom lane, the Lich is dead, and the Jakiro's not quite there yet. The Tiny's chunking away at the tower, doing whatever the hell he wants, and they should be able to get this tower no problemo in just a second here, and be able to TP back to shoo off that Razor. There it goes. Bane actually gets the last hit on the tower, and instead of going back for the... Are they going to go back? They should go back for the Razor. You're not going to get the tier 2 by the time the Razor's done here. They're going to go for it. They want to trade instead, so they're going to head up top, but this tower is
Radiant's bottom tower
at full
is under
HP.
attack.
There's 4 heroes ready to go, and we do have a TP back from Puck. She's going to try to fight this up, maybe get the deny on the tower, but no, not the case. She jumps away. Razor does get the tower and could TP up the top to fight this up if he wants, but just no response from Groovy. They're not feeling confident in their ability to fight. They don't have the Razor ready, so they just traded off. So it is a trade, and I guess I underestimated 3TG's ability to push, because I figured they'd be able to. I didn't figure they'd be able to get that tier 2 before Groovy TP'd the Razor back and went in for a fight, but they did manage to. It'll be a Void farming away. It looks like he is trying to rush straight towards that Black King bar. Not going to finish up the Mjolnir quite yet, and I think that's a wise choice. He really needs that match immunity. We've got an Ogre Club on the Razor as well, so that will be a BKB, unlike my previous incorrect guess when I said he was going for a BKB first and ended up getting that Aghanims. 3TG's map control right now is really, really good. They're keeping themselves positioned and postured forward, able to just catch anybody out they want with the 3 Blink Daggers on their team, potentially 4 as soon as this Bane gets a couple hundred more gold. They are free to just kind of jump in on any lane. Like a scenario like this where the Void is farming a little bit too far forward, I mean, we could see a Bane blink in from here and just snatch him up, and that, I mean, that could just very well be it, and they're doing this very well. And we'll see it pay off in a few more minutes here. But anyways, down on the bottom lane, I completely missed this. The Razor was farming up a little bit too aggressively forward and gets picked off by the combination of the Bane, the Mirana, and the Puck. Figured Dream Coil was used for that as well. Wow, these two wards directly on top of each other, and Ogre almost didn't see that one, but turns back around, finishes off that ward, removes a little bit of that vision, secures his jungle. Tiny bit, but you know, that Moonlight Shadow is always on board, and those Blink Daggers, like I said, always ready to go. So I mean, anytime 3TG wants to get aggressive, they can. More aggressive wards coming up here, allowing them to see a little bit into that lane and around the secret shot. It's a great ward, especially if you want to go in for Roche, because you know, for anybody on Groovy to get into position, they either have to come straight down through here, or they have to go through all of this nonsense, or down here. So, good word for spotting it out, and they will move into the Roche pit. Here they go, and looks like Groovy is not too interested in contesting this. I mean, they should have an idea of what's been going on. I mean, 3TG has been off the map completely for a short while here, and you know, it's probably pretty obvious to them that Roche is going to be done. But whether or not they feel confident going into that Roche pit completely blind is another deal entirely, and they're just not. And 3TG walks forward. They're going to finish off this Roche. No way to contest it now. It is going to drop 3, 1, bam. Aegis in Tiny's pocket. And, he is a scary Tiny now. He's got his treads finished. He's got his BKB. He's got his Aghanims and a Aegis the Immortal as well. So he's going to be able to just rip through this enemy team. And any towers additionally. I mean, this is the power of getting an Aegis on heroes like Tiny. And, man, Aegis could actually be wasted here. The Razor runs forward and is going to try to take a shot at Podge, but the Moonlight Shadow keeps him safe. And is he going to go back in on this? I don't think he should. If he reveals himself, he could be in a lot of trouble. And actually, Ogre drops 2 wards there. Arrow flying in. They dropped the Dream Coil, so they want to fight this up. And, oh my god, what a fantastic chrono. Podge going to fall right off the bat. Moving on to Mark now. He's getting chunked down quite a bit, but he should be able to leap away from this. The time lock almost gets him out, but almost gets him caught. Anyways, the Bane and the Puck have dropped.
Radiant's
and
middle
the Faithless
tower
Void
is
is there
under
with
attack.
the BKB, ready to fight this up. And that fantastic chrono has netted them a great fight and potentially another tower. Actually, the Tiny lost the Aegis as well.
Radiant's
we
top
did
tower
get 3
is under
deaths there.
attack.
Good fight. That is what Groovy needed right now, especially after that Roche attempt.
Radiant structures are fortified.
If 3TG is free to push up this lane and get all the way up to the base and get the Tiny just sieging this out and sitting up here chunking it away and using that Aegis for you know, the damage, then it could have been another ordeal entirely. But they pop off the Aegis, they even up the score a little bit, and they'll be happy with what they got. That said, I mean, this is a pretty scary graph. It's a slight dip on the on both of the graphs, but it's not going to be quite enough just yet. Anyways, Eul Scepter now completed on that Jakiro. Like I said, he kind of went for an interesting double mashup of items. He kind of got half of his Euls and then said, oh, I'm going to get my mechanism, and then, I don't know. But he's got them both now, and that's going to mean good things for his team. They've got all the more control for that Bane, for that Tiny, and of course they got that mech to help keep them alive a little bit longer. I think they spot out the Void. Yeah, they do. There we go. Avalanche, Toss, Gush, and he does blink away, but they're not going to find that. Ravage actually expended, and what the hell? Oh man, he backtracked everything right there. Eul's going to be used on the Ogre to try to keep the place when he catches up. Are they going to kill him? I don't think so. He waddles himself back away, and Void does buyback. And I don't know if that was the most necessary buyback, but if they do manage to turn this into a fight, this could be very well worth it. They get Nice Path out on Podge. The Macropyre is going to go down, and oh man, they are going to fight in the middle of it. Great chrono though, catches 3. The Tiny is on the other side of the fight, trying to catch everybody else out. Jason Seagal nightmares himself up. It's going to last for another couple seconds, but now Podge is all alone. Is he going to find a way out of this? I don't think so. He's trying to waddle away, do whatever he can, and it's not going to happen. 4 heroes down on the side of 3TG, and that buyback definitely worth it. Tide trying to run himself away, and I don't know if they're going to catch him. He had a refresher as well, and he did expend at that fight. Oh, actually, doesn't show refresher on here. It should. But either way, 4 heroes down, lots of abilities used, and about 3,400 gold swing going the way of Groovy. So if we look back towards those graphs, they will be looking a lot better right now. And it's not that much. I think it might update in a second and shoot down a little bit further. But the XP definitely heading back down towards that 0 mark. And Groovy is feeling a lot better now. I mean, that Void is really what they're hinging on if we look up here. I mean, the Razor can do work, but it's not the Razor that's doing all of the work. It's the Void right now. These Chronos have been immaculate, and the damage that he's putting out is good enough to be able to secure them these fights. And without the Bane and the Mirana on the back line to be able to support the Tiny, he's not able to get much done. Down on bottom, pinging out this tower, so they want to go get that last tier 2, and they need to go in with a proper siege, I think, because these janky fights in the jungle where they're kind of running around behind enemy lines and they're divided up with the Tiny Ogre over here and the Tide Hunter scrambling around over here and the Bane Mirana back here. It's just not working out for them. I mean, they really need to just get themselves as in position as 5, with the Tiny up front chunking the tower, the Puck and the Tide on the back lines ready to blink in. And, while I'm talking, big fight's happening here. The Chain Frost goes out, Chronosphere only catches one, and it's going to be the Bane. Jules goes up to try to keep the Void from doing too much damage, but the Bane is going to fall. Ice Path falls. Are they going to be able to make anything out of this fight? I don't think so. They don't have a Ravage, and the Tiny is not a... Oh, man. They have a gem somewhere. He's going to try to fight it up, try to pop that Shakiro, and it's not going to happen. Waiting for that Ravage. They need 10 seconds. Lich, he's going to fall. Too much damage for him. He cannot get away from this, and now they're trying to find this out. They don't have a ward to spot out this high ground, so this is a great spot to fight for Groovy because they can see every maneuver that comes through, but not the case with 3TG. Puck using himself up right now. Tiny disabled, and there we go. That's the Ravage they were looking for. Finally comes off the cooldown. The Ogre is going to fall. Arrow flies in, misses everything completely. Now, Tiny trying to run away from this. 3 heroes down on the side of Groovy, 2 on the side of 3TG, and the Razor is chasing down Podge. Is he going to be able to find him? I don't think so, though. He's got a lot of CC available, and the Tide, oh my god, backtracks the last gush and jumps away. So that backtrack saving his life there, and they're going to turn on the Razor. Will they find the kill, though? They're all very low, and they need plays just right if they want to kill him off. And the Puck, oh, very, very sketchy. Running away, got that blink ready, and toss from the Tiny. Will secure the kill. Razor gets juked out of that, stays a little bit too long. Overstays his welcome, and he is good. So good fight there for 3TG. They're feeling that 3K swing back in their direction, and about 5K gain on the XP graph. So, man,
Radiant's top tower is under
insane.
attack.
Yeah, it's jumping all over the place. And net worth, very similar graph, but just spiking up in a little bit smaller increments here. Macrofire being used on the bottom lane to try to keep this creep wave from moving too far forward. They really want to keep this tier 2 tower alive. It allows them to maintain some semblance of Roche control, and is kind of keeping 3TG from going high ground. I mean, once you get all the outer towers out, is when you really start aiming to put some pressure on multiple lanes of racks at once. I mean, you can get 2 lanes pushed up, you bounce between them, but if you have that one outer tower remaining, it becomes a lot harder, and you are forced to 5-man up a single lane, and it it doesn't work out quite as well as it does when you can bounce yourself around. This Puck, interesting choice here. Looks like she's actually going for an Ethereal Blade, and I think that's for a couple reasons. Mainly just to kind of keep the Void and the Razor off of her biscuits, but also just kind of increases her burst damage as well. If you get an Ethereal on somebody like a Lich or an Ogre and a Brain Sap on them as well, you can do a lot of damage. But it's curious to see this E-Blade coming out before the Dagon. Usually on Puck you see a Dagon and then an E-Blade, but yeah, I guess we'll see. Tiny now looking towards a Assault Cuirass for himself, so giving himself that attack damage, and oh man, they definitely saw that for sure. But they're going to go straight forward on this. They're looking for the Razor. If he pops that Black King bar, he's just going to fight it up. Eye of the Storm is being used in Puck. He's got a little bit too far forward. Tiny finds out the Lich on the side, and yeah, Jason Sakal realizes it's a bad idea, tries to run away, and he does get caught by the Chronosphere, but I don't think he cares all that much. Tide Hunter on the back lines there, pops off that Ravage, and the Sheevan, he's got it again. Oh my god, the refresh is too much. Groov's trying to run away from this, but he's not going to make it out this time. Shakira running through the trees, but he is caught, he is done. There he goes, heals himself up for a last ditch attempt at escape, but it's not going to happen. You can't take me out of that, buddy. 5 heroes down on this side of Groovy, and 3TG gives themselves a fantastic fight, which could mean one or multiple lanes of racks. The Lich died early, and he'll be back up to defend, but what's the Lich going to do against these 5? Absolutely nothing, my friend. 5 down. This the Lich died a little bit too early for the fight recap to pick it up, but he was a death in this fight, and of course, Bane got caught by that chrono at the end there as well. So that'll be it. Tide really found exactly what he was looking for that fight. Blink, Ravage, Shiva's, Refresh, Ravage, Shiva's. It was exactly what he wanted, and they're going to get racked for sure. Whether they go down towards that top lane, pick up another lane, but blinking forward, looking for that ledge. He found himself a little too far forward to get spot. Ogre trying to stall this up however he can, gets the multicast out, and I think it's going to be enough to deflect them for now. They're not going to get too greedy and they just back away. They're happy with their one lane of racks and definitely feeling good about themselves right now. 3TG back up and they are in a commanding position right now. The only hope for Groovy right now is a Void just getting the perfect Chronosphere and just shredding them with a Chain Frost and Eye of the Storm. But right now that's not looking too likely. The positioning has been fantastic from 3TG and they're playing incredibly smart. They're doing what they need to do, and with the second Roche coming up in just a moment here, we will likely see that be the point of contention here. Razor from it pretty far forward, but no attempt on blink action here. They saw him, they could have gone for it, but they're not feeling too greedy quite yet, and instead they're just going to back themselves away, get their next splurge of items up, and they do have the full Assault Cuirass coming out to the Tiny. I almost called him Pudge because his name is Podge, but Podge. Kevin Talbert up on the Tidehunter as well. This has been really important because I think almost every hero on the side of 3TG has a way to deal with Void if they're not inside the Chronosphere. I mean, the Tiny is a bit of an exception, but he can always avalanche in from the side. So he's got that ability. The Mirana has the Arrow as well, and the Moonlight Shadow if there happens to be no detection around. You got absolutely everything from the Bane. You got Enfeeble, you've got Nightmare, you've got Fiend Script, you got Force Staff. You can do whatever the hell you want to Void and or his and or your allies who are inside of that Chronosphere. The Tidehunter now has that halberd, so if he doesn't have the Ravage available, he can halberd to kind of shut down that Void's attack power, and the Pocket Force has that use. So also the E-Blade. I mean, the E-Blade disables the attack on the Void as well. So something to look out for. They're playing very well against Void. Anyways, blink in. There they go. They're ready for it. Ravage goes out, catches 3. They don't get the face of Void because he's Black Kingbard, but it doesn't matter. He gets his refresh Ravage off and needs to pop another Shiva's. Will he do it? I don't know. We'll see in a moment. Razor trying to fight this stuff, but he is dropping very quickly. There he goes. He will go down to an auto attack from the Mirana. He's running away with a small sliver of health, and he needs to get himself the hell out of this. He hasn't popped the Black Kingbar all fight, and now, actually, Void gets himself in a lot of trouble. Fantastic Dream Coil, catches 4. They're going to be able to clean this up. Puck jumps in, she pays her life for it, but it doesn't matter. They're going to find 5 again. There they go. Anchor Smash Gush. Yep, there it goes. Ben Hameen, godlike. 12, 2, and 22. What a guy. He has been playing a fantastic Tidehunter in this game, and another 5-man wipe could very well be the end of this game. Huge gold XP swings. You see almost every ability on both teams expended to their fullest extents, and Black Kingbars, Shivas, Ethereal Blades, everything getting popped off in that fight. That was absolutely bonkers, and we are looking at potentially the end of this game. Groovy is running on their last legs, trying to find a way to scrape themselves back into this game, and they needed to, because as I said, the default win for game number 1 was given to 3TG, so all they need to do is secure this game, and they can take the 2-set completely. Top tower within deny range. I don't know if they're going to drop that. I mean, they could use that. They could use that as a TP point. I mean, there's always points in a game like this where you wonder, do you really deny this tower? Because if a fight breaks out here and your team buys back, you need to be able to TP to a tower like this or like this. And I think in this game it is very much worth it to keep that tower alive. There's not a good chance that Groovy is going to get out of their base, push all the way up down this top lane, and get rid of this top tier 2. So I'd say they leave it right now. We'll see if Mark, he's going to leave it. And that is the correct choice in my mind. The really important tower always is the bottom tier 2 for Dire. It always allows you Roche control. If you can keep the tier 1, good, but chances of you keeping a tier 1 are pretty poor. So making sure you keep this tier 2 alive, and even if it's in deny range, keeping it alive for a little bit is a really good idea. Anyways, Tiny gets himself really far forward. He might pay for this. Gets Ice Pathed up, he's dusted out, so they can't keep track of him. And there we go. There goes the Chronosphere. They're going to jump in on Podge, and he's dropping very quick. Is he going to find a way out of this? I don't think so. He gets caught, and I think that was just cockiness. Straight up. He walked right into the enemy, saw a Lich and said, oh, I'll just fight this Lich in the enemy jungle, and he paid for it. So, you know, being a little bit too cocky there, doesn't have buyback either. So, this could be Groovy's opportunity to push in and do something with this. And this might be a point where the Tide Under, yeah, he's going to walk forward. Is he going to deny? He should deny. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so now that you know that there's pressure coming in on
Radiant's
top,
top tower has been
get
denied.
the deny and, you know, go do your own thing for now. Oh, Dark Courier. That could have been sketchy. Yeah, Jason Seagal did see that, so he could have sniped it, but I don't know.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
GTA gonna jump in on this mid lane and just pound out the tier 1 towers. So they managed to get themselves a couple towers, one of them being denied, but you know, using that Tiny's death the best advantage they can. The Roshan is up, and I think they could have gone for that if they had beelined it straight after the Tiny kill, but I'm not sure if that is the best idea right now. Tiny's got 19 seconds left on him, and he can get into that fight if he needs to at any point. Creeps chipping away at the tier 4 towers here, but not doing any significant damage as of yet. Yeah, Shakira is going to come back to defend that. Faces Void, gets himself a bounty rune, and head back towards the secret shop. What? I wonder what he's going to buy next. What do you buy, bud? Go for butterfly? I don't know. What are you doing? Come on, Grooves. What are you doing, buddy? Just gonna sit here? Just gonna sit here and think about life? Yeah. Okay. Alright, so I think he was probably asking his team, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? And he decides instead to get the Talisman of Evasion, so he still gets the evasion, but oh man, this is not good. Finds himself farming in the mid lane, they catch him up with a Fiend Scrape arrow, and he is down without buyback. And I think the entire idea of buying the Talisman and not the Eagle Song was to save him buyback, but he doesn't have it. It's off cooldown because of that. You get cut, you get cut. But yeah, that buyback on that earlier fight has cost him, and even though he has the money for it, he doesn't have the buyback available. They're going to push in here, they're going to try to chunk down this tower, and without the Void to be able to initiate and get that Chronosphere, there's not much Groovy can do, and they know it. 3TG is just up here, just chunking away, and they, like I said, they're just doing what they can. I mean, look at these buildings evaporate. The Tiny hit so hard, 360 damage on him right now, and the Ravage gets popped off. Only hits one, but it doesn't matter. He's got the refresh, catches two that time. Multicast goes out, not going to meet a whole lot though. Chain Frost bouncing around, not doing any damage, and GG well played is going to be the call from Groovy Gaming. They realize they're in a bit of a pickle here, and that Void getting caught was really the last straw. I mean, it was there were a lot of contributing factors early on, and I do believe 3TG was still in control of this game, but I think Groovy could have brought it back if they got the perfect team fight, and instead they let a sloppy pickoff come out, and without the Void they really can't do much. That's going to be the throw and fall, and GG well played is the call. So 3TG take home a victory in game number 2, which was really game number 1 because we gave them a default win. So they'll be walking away with 2 points to their name, and that will be it for the night. My apologies, folks, that we didn't get to play 2 games, but you know, penalties got to be handed out if you're not punctual. You got to be around. You got 10 people that are all expecting to play a game of Dota, and if you're late, you know, it's not good. It's not. Go up for your games. Let this be a lesson to you all you viewers out here, and you know, thanks to 3TG for being so punctual and being willing to jump in for this second game despite all the lateness. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. It has been a blast casting for you. That will be it from me tonight. My name is Cptn.Canuck. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, all at Cptn.Canuck Dota. And as well, be sure to follow the UGC League on all of their multiple Twitch channels, UGC League 1, 2, 3, 4, and I believe there's even a 5th. You can find all of their streams as well as all the updates and league information over at www.ugcleague.com. So check that out. It has been a pleasure, folks. If you enjoyed my casting, please throw me a follow on any of those various social networks I mentioned earlier, and you guys have yourselves a wonderful night. Cheers.